Right. Okay. Places of worship.
Good.
St. Mary's, Almeley, and in my St. Mary's in my lifetime. The Quaker Chapel, Almeley, Wunton, second oldest in the country, very famous one. The Friends Meeting House of Wunton, which we later converted into a house.
Yes, and that's where Judy MacDonald and Mike Hayes live now, and they're going to be married next summer. Mike has lived in that house for a good number of years. The converted chapel?
Well, sorry, say it again.
Is that not the converted chapel in Wunton?
Yeah.
That's where Mike Hayes
there
lives?
was a meeting house and a converted chapel.
Right.
If you take the meeting house first.
Where was that?
The meeting house was adjoining John Smith's farm.
Okay,
And John and his wife sold their farmhouse and moved into it later on.
Right. And that's on the main road, just off the main road?
That's on the main road, just as you cross the road.
Yep, got it.
Now that was built originally, I wouldn't quite say where, I would have thought Victorian.
Yeah.
When Almeley was a long way from Wunton.
Yeah.
And it was called the Mission Hall.
Yeah.
So, and at one time had quite a good audience.
Yes.
Well, anyway, eventually it got redundant with cars and so on.
Yeah.
But that was the Mission Hall.
Got it.
Now, just before you get there, on the right hand side,
Yes.
there was a Wesleyan, I suppose, chapel,
Yes.
and that was used at the same time. So we actually had 5 places of worship.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, we had the church number 1,
Yep.
the Quaker Chapel, Wunton, the Friends Meeting House up there,
Yep.
and then these 2 in Wunton.
Yes, of course. And the chapel up at Almeley Wotton, was that a Wesleyan or was that a
I
Baptist?
tell you, it was a Friends, I think they called it.
Well, there's the Friends, the Quakers, that's still going.
Oh,
But there's another one.
Quakers and Friends the same?
Yes.
Very much still going.
Yes.
Very famous.
Yes, they're very good people. But there's also a chapel up there on the left-hand side as you go up.
Oh yeah.
Which
that
is being
was
converted.
sold off privately years ago.
And do you remember that being open?
Pardon?
Do you remember when that one was open and being used as a chapel?
It's going to be some while.
Yeah.
I've been there. I mean, they used to have all the Harvest Festival. I was sort of queering it because they used to sell all the goods in the chapel.
Ah, yes, yes.
And in the war, one of the people gave a little bar of chocolate, which, we were all scrambling to get this bar of chocolate.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting to know whether there's anybody still around who was actually a worshipper, an attender at that chapel.
Yes. Well, you see, Owen Davis, would he have died before you came? Did you meet an old boy called Owen Davis?
I don't think so, no.
Well, it's strange because they were in my old town. They were nearly neighbours, and his father's name was Sam.
Yep.
And he was a preacher, and to some extent. Have you ever heard the word ranter preacher?
Yes, I have. Yes, indeed.
Well,
he was in that tradition, was he?
Pretty much one of them.
Right.
And now them brethren. Anyway, he and my friend Owen lived there. Eventually Owen married and moved into a cottage down the lane.
Yeah.
And then the old folks died and Owen and his wife moved back to the brick house.
Yeah.
And Owen's wife died comparatively young with diabetes. And